Leftover women learned the hard way because men aren't dating them anymore.
Where are all the big beaked men? Where are all the big beaked men? I promise you, when I see you, I've always got a butt for your seat. Always. I am your biggest fan.
Right here, just not looking in the right place.
So this woman was in a restaurant. She's looking around and all she sees other women. Nobody on a date. No man and woman on a date. Just women, as she said, dating each other. So the commentary is that men don't want to be on dates anymore. They don't want to go out with women because it's a waste of time and money. So my question is, do men ever like going on a date? Do men like going on dates? They like going to restaurants and trying different foods and things like that. Is it something that they only did because women like to do it? Like if I'm going to get in a relationship and I say I want to go to a restaurant, am I making him do something that he doesn't want to do? A lot of men say they just rather stay home. But what do you guys think?
We don't like spending money needlessly, and it has become a liability to be married. I think the men who were open to dating realized that many women did not desire them and discovered that they were being used for free food, decided not to play the game anymore. So in this era, dating is a waste of time, money, and emotional labor. This generation of young men was brought up to see women as equals, and this conflicts with the reality that women choose in their dating norms, hypergamy, and what young men have seen their uncles go through in divorce court.
Clearly, the point of this article was entirely missed. It was not about shaming relationships or shaming girls for having boyfriends, because it would be so naive and ignorant to say that it's embarrassing to have a partner. Like, it's not. People want to be in relationships. People want to feel loved and to feel connected to other people. And if you say that you don't, that's just a lie, number one. So that's just not the point of the article. The point of the article is that men are now needing certain emotional needs that women have. And in the past, maybe men didn't have to meet these needs because women relied on men for other things and in other ways that now women just like don't rely on men for. So the shift in like how people relate to one another, like that is very present now. And also just culturally, we're in a movement where, you know, we're suffering in our relationships. So I wouldn't even look at the Vogue article as like us shaming on it has nothing to do with shaming men. Like genuine, and that's the thing, like women are not out here shaming men. Like just because we're pointing out things that like we think men can get better on, in the same way that women can get better on so many things, like we should all help each other. We shouldn't be just like pitting against each other. We should actually be trying to learn and understand from the other party and help and meet halfway.
No, most women don't want to be in relationships or approached by men. You can see it on the face of women how annoyed and bothered they are if you just say hi or ask them something public. It's so embarrassing to feel like that. I'll never approach again. So men giving up and not interacting with women they don't know is what that vast majority of women have wanted. Here's the thing. Where's the anger at the people who've sold men the never approach women, it's creepy message? That message has been pushed aggressively for decades. If the message is crippling relationships now, then those who have pushed that message must be called out.
Let me translate this for you real quick. Men don't avoid you because you're hot. They avoid you because the risk isn't worth the reward. What we have here is high ego, grouped together, defensive body language that screams, approach me so I can reject you. And after all, this is what you wanted, right? You're strong, independent women, and you don't need a man. Attention isn't attraction, and being hot doesn't make you approachable.
The damage social media and dating apps has done to women's collective perception and behaviors is unrepairable at this point. Birth rate replacement to sustain is in free fall for the West. They think they're hot. The problem is the value proposition. The possible benefits and rewards are not worth the risk and the time involved. Don't waste your energy on them because they get a dopamine boost every time you approach them and you lose your energy. You could use that energy for yourself instead. The day you reached your full potential and success are when you're really ready, go approach. Enjoy the rejection because that day you don't mind getting rejected by someone because you are in a much better place. Keep up, younger folks.
Let's talk about my date last night. Okay, so as you already saw, he was like literally 25 minutes late. And he was not overly apologetic. Like, he really should have been pleading for my forgiveness. He shows up. First of all, I text him or I message him on Bumble because at that point we hadn't exchanged numbers yet. I message him on Bumble and I say, hey, I'm here. I'm seated. Just walk straight in. When you get here, you will see me. 25 minutes later, this man shows up, does not follow any type of direction. He walks in, turns, and I see him like lost on his phone, like looking around. I'm watching him. I'm watching him be lost, but I don't say anything to him. What, I'm supposed to shout his name across the bar? No. Listen to my instruction. I told you to walk straight in. If you were to just have walked straight in, you would have sat with me. So I'm watching this man like at the bar, confused. I'm texting my sister. I'm like, he's literally here. So finally he walks in, he finds me, he sees me. He hugs me hello. The hug is so weird. It's like he barely even touches me. Like, this is me and I'm him. He literally is like doing like that kind of number. And I'm just like, okay. He's like, sorry, like parking was so bad. And I'm like, no, you're gonna need to say more than just sorry, parking was bad. You need to be like, I'm so sorry, like, oh, I feel so bad that you were waiting, like, please, can I buy you a drink, what's what, like, no. He was just like, sorry, parking was so bad, and then he sits down, and I'm not being nice to him. I am like, yeah, I mean, you said you've been here before, so I figured you would have known parking is bad. And he's like, oh, well, I mean, like, parking is bad everywhere. And I said, oh yeah, even more of a reason for you to know that parking would have been bad here. And he's like, it's like awkward. It's honestly pretty tense. He's like, yeah, well, I just didn't expect for it to take 25 minutes. I'm like, okay. He goes, okay, like, do you want a drink? Do you want to get a drink? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a Moscow Mule. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes up and he gets a Moscow Mule. Now, I didn't want to go up to the bar with him. I was already frustrated. There were people at the bar. I didn't want to awkwardly have to stand next to him and make conversation. Like, I wasn't in a good mood. At the same time, I don't know this man. And, like, I don't need him buying my drink unattended. Like, what if he put something in it? So I'm literally texting my sister and I'm like, I just sent him to go buy me a mule. I will not be drinking that drink, but he will be paying for it. But then he comes back to the table and he's like, apparently they need to see your ID too because I'm buying 2 drinks. And I'm like, okay. So then I get up with him and now we go to the bar together. At the bar, we're making like small talk. They're playing a football game. And so he's like, do you watch sports? And I'm like, no, not really. Like, we get our drinks, we go sit back down. I am just like not being my normal chipper, bubbly self. I'm just like listening to him and looking at him. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make the conversation. I'm not gonna work here. Eventually though, I calmed down. Eventually I simmered. Then I started to feel like, oh, this guy's actually pretty handsome. He's actually kind of sweet. Like, he had a lot of attributes that I actually did like about him. Close with his siblings. The way that he talked about his family was really sweet. He's passionate about his line of work. He talked a lot about health and fitness, which was like a turnoff for me. Like, he was talking about like the science of the body and how you need to understand how things that you ingest interact with your body. And he was like, these next 5 years, I'm committed to being the best version of myself, both physically and in my job. And that was just like, okay. He was like giving like gym bro, finance bro. He's not even in finance, but that's what he was giving. Not that I disagree or that I dislike it. It's just there are so many more interesting things to talk about than your diet. So that was like something where I was just like, okay, like, also like this idea that he wants to be the best version of himself within the next 5 years. He's like, that way, like in my 40s, I could just chill. While I can appreciate that as a concept, that's just so not me. Like, I am not that thinking at all. I don't think about my future in that way because the future is not promised. I very much so live for the now and live for the present. The idea of like grinding and hustling 5 to 8 years so that way at the end of that you can like have fun and travel and do things like that. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that's just not me. We're not compatible in that way. We finished the drink. Thankfully he did not ask to get another one, because I didn't want another one. I kind of wanted to go home. Not because of him. I just was like, I was getting a headache. Also, they were starting to play karaoke at this bar. And like, it was all the employees who were karaokeing. And they were having a great time. And it was fun to see. But they were like scream singing. And so then we couldn't hear each other anymore. So we kept being like, what? And like, that was just like, it was just exhausting. And I was like, okay, like, we need to leave. Also, though, we stayed pretty late. Like, the date started at 6, technically 6:25. And when I finally looked at my phone to decide, like, okay, are we gonna go? It was about to be 9. I'm like, okay, do you want to go? He's like, yeah, let's get out of here. I'd put his card down at the bar, so he's like, let me go get my card. I was worried that he was going to like offer me a ride home, and I didn't want to ride home. I have no idea where the hell he parked, and I was not trying to walk with him to his car. So while he went to go get his card, I already called my Waymo. And so when he came back, I was like, oh, I called a Waymo. It'll be here in like 5. And he's like, oh, okay. So maybe he would have offered me a ride home, but I didn't wait around to find out. He walked me to my Waymo. He hugged me at the Waymo. And again, if this is me and I'm him, he gave another one of these the hugs were just like sort of off-putting. And honestly, what was so weird is I really think he would have tried to kiss me, actually, because he was doing that thing that guys do where they're like looking at you and they're like, okay. And it's like, oh my God, please. Anyway, he was like, did you have a good time? And I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, yeah, I did too. Like, that bar was really cool, and like the drink was good, and like I liked our conversation. I was like, yeah. I just didn't have a lot to give. Honestly, him showing up late like really kind of soured the rest of my experience. Anyway, then I get into my Waymo, he walks away. I realized that he doesn't have my number because we've never exchanged numbers, because I told him on the app that I didn't want to exchange numbers until we met. So then last night I'm like talking to my sister about the date, and then I'm like, well, I'm not gonna text him. Like, I'll wait to see if he messages me on the app and asks for a number. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I don't think he'll text me, because I don't think I was really giving vibes that like I wanted him to. There were some things about him that I liked, and I did find him handsome, although he did lie about his height. But I really liked his face and his hair. This is literally where I'm gonna start twitching, because like I sort of had to convince myself, sort of had to work myself out of a bad mood to be like, no, Jez. I go to Bumble, I message him and I said, oh, hey, by the way, this is my number. Have a good night. Wake up this morning, he had responded and said, got it, thanks, good night. And still hasn't texted me. So the way that I might have just given this man my number and he has no interest in texting me, whatever, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. But that was my date last night. I wish he wasn't late, because I think him being late really sort of tanked the entire thing. Cheers.
The way we review people like items and pick apart the smallest things for a story time is getting worrisome. It's self-sabotage. Having standards is okay, and so is rejecting men, but bringing it online, especially when it's a minor thing, is somehow... Imagine if you came across a video reviewing you like this for making one mistake. At the end, you said you think you gave off vibes that you aren't interested, and then are confused why he hasn't texted you yet. If she's uninterested, why did she text him and then care that he didn't text her again? Does that make sense?
So I tried to have a Hinge date, and he messaged me and was like, hey, I'm still down to go if you are. And I was like, yeah, of course. And he said, I actually just lost my credit and debit cards and I'm waiting for them to come back in the mail. Is there any way that you can pay and I'll give you cash later? I said, yeah, of course. Just meet me at the restaurant. I'm not going to the restaurant, because what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? I don't even actually want to meet you. I'm literally just here for free food. And you're telling me I have to pay? And then see you again to get cash? Absolutely not. Sounds like a scam if you ask me.
Did she really just say she was only going for free food? That's the only reason they do it for. Many of them do this because they're broke. Seriously. And she's accusing him of a scam? So she can scam him, but if he scams her, it's weird. And she thinks she's being scammed. He dodged a bullet.
I have a serious question. Where are all the men at who know how to hold a conversation? You know, like where you ask a question and they answer, and then they ask a question and then you answer and you ask a question, to form a connection, to build some interest, to get to know each other on a deeper level. Where are these men? Because they're not on Hinge. My shoulders are sore from carrying all of these fucking conversations with men on Hinge. Like, God forbid someone asks me a follow-up question.
She's looking for men who can hold conversations. Translation, the men she's talking to aren't putting effort into engaging with her. Let me explain what's really happening. Men absolutely can hold conversations with women they're genuinely interested in. When a man is attracted and invested, he'll ask questions, engage deeply, carry conversations for hours, and make effort to connect. The fact that the men she's encountering can't or won't hold conversations with her reveals one thing: they're not that interested. Here's the reality. Men give low-effort responses, one-word answers, and boring conversation to women they're not excited about. If he's not holding conversation with you, you're not inspiring him to try. He's either talking to other women he finds more interesting and saving his energy for them, keeping you as a low priority option while focusing elsewhere, not attracted enough to invest conversational effort, waiting to see if you'll carry the conversation and do the work, already decided you're not worth serious pursuit but keeping you around for potential hookup. She wants men who can hold conversations, but what she really needs is to become interesting enough that men want to engage with her. Because the issue isn't that men can't talk, it's that they're choosing not to with her specifically. If you're consistently encountering men who won't engage conversationally, ask yourself, am I pursuing men out of my league who see me as low priority? Am I boring and not bringing interesting topics or energy to conversations? Am I expecting him to do all the work while I contribute nothing? The common denominator is you. Quality men hold great conversations with women who inspire them to. If they're not doing it with you, you're not that woman.
Be the one to throw us under the bus here. I'm not sure if we actually want nice guys. I think we do, but we think that in the same way that we want to eat healthy. Like, yeah, a salad will make you feel better afterwards, but sometimes you crave chocolate cake. And sure, the chocolate cake makes you cry afterwards, but it tastes really good in the moment. And sometimes the nice guys that are salads, sometimes they'll be like, well, the girls just like assholes, and so they'll try and pretend that they're chocolate cake, but we can tell, we can see that you've really just drizzled chocolate syrup on top of the salad, and we see right through it. And I know more girls feel like this than what they're willing to admit, because I've read the books you've suggested. I've read the smut books that you're reading, and it's always written by some woman named Genevieve that lives in Rhode Island with her 3 kids and her husband, but what she's fantasizing about, what she's thinking about, is some multi-million-dollar asshole, and the dialogue that she's writing with it is like, he shoved his bleep into my bleep until I was bleeping, bleeding, and pulling my hair. I'm like, you don't like nice guys.
It's not about being nice, it's about having a backbone and the ability to walk away if a woman behaves badly. Nice guys will put up with a woman's lies and disrespects because they don't have an abundance mentality, which is the exact opposite of what a competent man will do. Of course, bad boys are non-committal, but women think they can change them because they think they're the only one capable of it. Spoiler alert, you won't change him, he'll change you into a man-hater. Women want a guy who makes them feel something. You want him tall and masculine and a feeling of being dangerous, but not actually be dangerous, and to pull you back from the danger because you were never actually in danger. Who has ambition and a sense of his own life apart from you, but also makes room in his life for you. Come on, guys, it's not that hard.
A man rejected me tonight and I survived. I went to a singles dating event and my goal was to get rejected because I needed some rejection therapy from men specifically. And I was only rejected by one man. It did hurt my ego for like 30 seconds and then I was completely fine. Here's what happened. So I'm at this singles event. We have a bunch of matches, but I had already met my matches and I was just like talking to men, flirting, whatever, getting to know guys. So this guy comes up to me and he's talking to me and like, pretty much immediately, I realized that he was not interested in me, even though he came up to me. He kept like, I was making eye contact with him and he kept like looking around, like looking away. He was answering my questions, but like not asking me anything. So like, I already knew he wasn't interested in me, but I was like, I told myself I was gonna get rejection therapy and I told myself every man that I talk to, I'm going to ask for his number. The thing about me is I really am so afraid of rejection from men. So like, I haven't put myself in situations where I can be rejected by men. So right now I'm really trying to put myself in situations where like, I'm putting myself out there, and if a man rejects me, it's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did find him very attractive. He seemed nice, he had a good job. So I said, hey, his name, would you like to exchange numbers? And he got very awkward. He was like looking around and he goes, I was like, you don't have to. And he goes, no, I'm gonna pass. I was like, okay, no problem. And I walked away. Of course, like it obviously hurts everyone's ego when you're rejected, but there were so many other guys that I got to talk to. And like, I asked every other guy for his number. And I got 5 numbers and 2 Instagrams. The 2 Instagrams that I got, I didn't ask them for their number. I don't know why we were talking about Instagram, but I asked for their Instagram. So overall, a great night for Sydney. And I accomplished what I wanted to. I got rejected by a man. And I didn't die. I think I can do this again, guys.
A man rejected her, and it hurt her ego so badly that she made a TikTok video about it. This tells you everything you need to know about modern women and their inability to handle what men experience constantly. 1 rejection. 1 man said no, and her ego is so fragile that she had to run to social media, make a public video, and seek validation from strangers to soothe the pain. Meanwhile, men get rejected dozens, hundreds of times throughout their dating lives, on apps, in person, through ghosting, flaking, and outright dismissal. We're expected to handle it silently, keep trying, and never complain. One rejection sends her into an ego crisis requiring public processing and sympathy. The entitlement and lack of resilience is staggering. Here's what this really reveals. She's not used to being rejected because she spent her life with abundant male attention and options. This man was probably out of her league or high value enough to have options so he could afford to say no. Her ego can't handle not being chosen because she's been conditioned to believe her mere existence entitles her to male interest. She needs external validation to cope with normal dating experiences that men handle routinely without fanfare. The fact that she made a TikTok about it shows she's seeking sympathy, trying to shame him publicly, or fishing for comments telling her, "He's an idiot, you're amazing." It's pure ego protection. Here's the lesson. If one rejection breaks you badly enough to make public content about it, you're not emotionally mature enough to be dating. Rejection is normal. It happens to everyone. The difference is men internalize it and keep moving. Women make it a public spectacle and demand the world validate their hurt feelings. She needs to grow up, accept that not everyone will want her, and stop acting like being rejected once is some traumatic event worth broadcasting. It's pathetic.
PSA for every man that's crippled by rejection, don't forget.
If rejection was so hot, then women would be into it. But most women have never actually approached a guy, so they have no idea what rejection is actually all about.
Literally stopped approaching women because they're afraid to get rejected. They're afraid to be called creepy. Fill the blank.
I would be more than pleased to fill in the blank, especially for some women that aren't quite ready to admit it. But a lot of men just don't want to approach women because it's not worth their time, and they're happier being alone by themselves and happily single than they are being entangled with some of the women that are available out there. But some women don't like hearing that.
And when we act out of fear, we create the reality we're most fearful of. So reminder to just shoot your shot, put yourself out there, and know that rejection is literally never personal. It's actually hot to have the courage and confidence to go after what you want in life.
Well, guys, there you have it. More mixed messages, because there are still a lot of women out there that are telling men to leave them alone. But yet there's some women out there that want men to approach them. Yeah, but sorry, ladies, a lot of the guys simply don't want to.
Exactly. If rejection was so hot, then a lot more women would be into it. With the things some women are going on about giving mixed signals, I do not blame men for remaining happily single. Rejection is very personal to the person being rejected. It might mean nothing to the rejecter, but the rejected gets tired of the pain.